Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to another episode of How Would You Slice That? We envision this little show to be a combination of community conversation time, and we also want to try to weave in some slicing discussions or tips and tricks or strategies or tours. With me tonight is Dr. Lawrence Nightingale.
Hey, Vicky.
Hello. And if you're not familiar with him, he is a educator. He is a 3D printing advocate from Alexandria, Virginia. He's been 3D printing for 11 years, and his first platform was one of those early wood frame Prusa i3s. He established a 3D printing lab at the local community college. He was a presenter at the very first East Coast Rep Festival. He was a presenter at the National Maker Faire. He's done extensive research on the effect of 3D printing has on college students. Most recently, he decked the halls with 3D printed holiday ornaments. So he had a fully 3D printed Christmas tree. And then as of today, he is also a member of the Maker Brick family.
Whoa! Oh my God!
Maker Brick.
Wow.
Thanks courtesy of a local maker who is in the chat. And
oh my gosh.
Some of us who followed Maker Deck got to watch it print live today.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I've got goosebumps. Whoa, well, yay me. Wow. Well, thank you for letting me know, Vicky. This is wonderful. So yes, I'm Dr. Lawrence Nightingale, and my co-host, as always, is the wonderful Vicky Soma. She is an early innovator in the use of multicolor 3D printing. She also emphasizes design, 3D design, artistic design in her practice of making three-dimensional objects that are representative of native birds and also of architectural design. Vicky started off with actually sending her work to Shapeways, and then she got a Maker Gear M2, which is one of the most notoriously reliable 3D printers that has come through. And
yep, 9 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And she's also done something that you probably have not done if you're watching the show. She has 3D printed a prop that was actually a character in a real Hollywood production for Lifetime movies. So it's good to see you again, Vicky. How's the world of 3D printing been treating you lately?
It's been treating me really good. I have some good banter for today.
Yeah.
Which is most of you who watch the show, Lawrence is really kind to me in the introductions, and he's like that all the time. About 7 years ago, I got to write a book about the 3D modeling software Blender for 3D printing. And when I'd go on campus to do events with Lawrence, he would always introduce me as, "This is Vicky Soma. She wrote the book on Blender." And I'd always try to correct him, like, I wrote a book on Blender. So
and our library actually has a copy of your book, by the way.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago, when I was embarking on this whole book thing, it was very intimidating. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to Joe, the 3D printing professor who also wrote books. And one of the advice he gave me is just go into it thinking you're just getting the advance and you're not going to make any more money. And I followed his advice. And so, I wrote that book just for the advance. And then I go on with my happy Vicky life. Mm-hmm. And I checked my bank account this week. And 7 years later, I got my first royalty check. So I'd already sales have gone over the advance and now they're paying me. So that's
great.
Yeah.
Wow. What a milestone.
Terribly out of date, the book, but hey.
Well, they're probably going to put in an order for the second issue. So
maybe.
Yeah, that is great. Congratulations. I had a cousin that called me maybe about 6 weeks ago. She does events, and she asked me to make a print of a lime green Converse shoe, right? So So I said, hey, yeah, that's not such a bad idea. I can do that. And so I used some of my rudimentary, we'll call them skills, use my rudimentary skills to take an image, convert it to an SVG, and then fill in behind it with a 3D print. And no, those things turned out particularly well. So I wound up getting HueForge in order to match the colors. And so even though I don't have one of those shoes with me, I sent every single one that I printed out to her. I did go on to I went on to Maker World, and I printed a this bookmark that is designed for HueForge, right? And so I used blue, white, and black on this one, and I also quickly realized that you are limited in your color palette by what you have available as filament. And so I wound up getting the CMYK kit for my Bamboo Mini with the AMS, and now I'm looking forward to getting pretty much any color that I want. That software has been a really a great asset. Then the other thing that happened, that was last week, is that my 3D printing club at my college, I'm one of the faculty advisors for. We had a fundraiser that was a shooting gallery, and so I wound up taking some 3D printed like projectile shooters, and also a couple of my Nerf guns just as a backup. And students, if they paid $2, they could get a multicolored print. So this is of course an articulated multicolor whale, one of the things that we had. So I've had a pretty involved several weeks of 3D printing since the last show.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think I can tease that in July, it looks like we're having a HueForge expert. Was it July? Yes, July. Going to be joining us to talk about her project.
Okay. Yes.
But maybe that's a segue into tonight.
Yes, it is. It's a perfect segue.
All right. So I'm not sure if you've heard this, but oh wait, here, it might help if I get back on the screen again, right?
There you go. Hey.
Go back this way. All right. So you might have heard like what's the best exercise program or regimen, and it's the one that you're going to do. And so what's the best 3D printing community? It's going to be the one that you're going to feel comfortable with and engage with. And luckily, there are so many choices with the 3D printing community. You can attend a live person event like last weekend's Rocky Mount Rip Rap Festival. You can participate in chats of a live stream like Pez Liz's Twitch stream, or the Maker That Money podcast, or maybe even the How Would You Slice It show.
Okay.
You can connect with people on Discord and Instagram and X. But if you're on Facebook, perhaps you'll find yourself in one of the many 3D printing groups, and you might stumble upon the 3D Printing Club. And that's ties into our guest tonight. Our guest tonight, Al Shuryan, he started that 3D Printing Club 14 years ago. And today it's grown to 37,000 people. Over the years, the club has spread the word about new products, new filaments, software updates, and it's also, of course, helped beginners get their bearings when they've started on their 3D printing journeys. So we're going to welcome Mr. Shuryan, and tonight we're going to talk about his projects, the 3D Printing Club, and at the end, for those who are new to the hobby, we'll share some tips.
Hello, Al.
Hey, Al. Hey. Thanks for coming on.
What a kind introduction. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in to share time with us. How did you come into 3D printing to begin with? Not all those years ago, but before me and before Vicky. So
I used to be my hobby, pastime was modding computers. And so I would create these monstrous water-cooled, high-end gaming computers, and they'd have some type of a theme. And my theme was always military. We're a military family, and I salute them any way I could. And and I needed some inspiration and some modeling, and I ran into 3D printing, and I thought, man, it would be so cool if I could 3D print that part for my, my model. And I got into it, and I looked on Facebook, and I looked and looked, and there was nothing. There was
Mhm.
no groups at all about 3D printing. So I thought, well, if I want to learn it, I might as well set up a place where the experts and people who are interested in it will come and talk. And I'll just lurk and learn all about it. And that's kind of what happened. For about a year, I lurked, and See Me CNC decided they were going to send me a printer that was almost impossible to build, just to test me out. And they sent me an H2. And I mean, it was, you had to build a circuit board, you had to build, you do all the wiring, you did everything. And it was a Delta.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I was able to get it put together. And the first Midwest Rep Rap Festival that I went to, I brought it along with me and showed See Me CNC. I was successful at building it, and it was a lot of fun. It was the fastest for quite a few years, little printer that I had. So that got me into it, and slowly I started, really getting serious. And I got a CR10, a large machine, and I ended up with a TiVo, one of those big tarantula, and the thing
Oh,
was like
really?
400 by 350 by 375. It was huge.
Yes, it was.
And it was rare to get a good print that size off of that machine, but it did really good for the small things. But that's how I got into it, and I've been here ever since. I set up that group, and I seen so many people coming and asking for help. And
Mhm.
so one of the first things I did in that first 2 or 3 years was to look for a crew. And in that beginning, I must have had 20 different people on the crew and the team, who were close to being experts, but who could help. And the biggest question is, I'm a beginner. I don't know what to buy. Do you have any suggestions? And for the last 14 years, that's still the number one question.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so I don't know if uh, the the vendors, the manufacturers realize it, but I think we're the first place they come to ask what should I buy and where should I buy it,
Mhm.
um, because the vendors seem to be all migrated over to Twitter, and not so much Facebook anymore. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
that's where we're at, and that's what I've been having fun with. And it's we have help in the club, 24/7, 365. There's somebody in there to help somebody all the time.
Wow. Okay.
I
So
What
do
a
want to
resource.
draw your attention out to one of the comments from a Tech Jeeper. He says 3D Printing Club is one of the few Facebook groups that are actually helpful. Al and the team do a great job moderating it. So that's, you
thank
would
you,
attribute the success to your team?
thank you. Yes, yes. I have a person who, let's see, Michael. He's running our side chat, and it's called 3D Printer Chat. Now, if you come into the club and you look at the top features, functions of the club, you'll see a chat. If you need help, hit that chat. And you can go into a room where there's usually like 70 people hanging around, and
Mhm.
somebody will help. Somebody. If I'm not there, somebody will help. Michael will help, or some of the members. Now, if you slide the um, the feature bar all the way over, uh, there's you can ask a question, and that will ring my bell, and it will send a message right to me. And my notification will go off, and somebody will try to get in there and help, because that's usually somebody, I burned up my hot end, I don't know what to
Whoa.
do, or my nozzle's clogged, what do you do? And so we can help in many ways.
Wow. That
Hello?
being able to help people in a spot like that, that's a really huge asset to have one thing that I noticed about that is that you know, you, there's not a whole lot of what I picked up on as modding. Do you guys advise people on modding their 3D printers, or or are you more of a or more of a stock build with what you've got type of
Well,
arrangement?
modding, as far as modding, upgrades. Do you mean
Yes.
upgrades? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Sure.
Everybody thinks they're an upgrade when they start out. I mean, okay, so hopeful mods. Yes, go ahead.
When I learn what new board would fit in like an Ender, the BTT, the new BTT board that will go in an Ender 3, and you can upgrade it with the Sprite hot end, that kind of thing. And then it really takes that Ender 3 to another level.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a direct drive. It's real simple to use. It's so reliable, that Sprite hot end. And
Wow.
and then that BTT 3.1 board, it's 32-bit. I mean, it's just a big upgrade from the original Ender, and it's faster, warms up
Yeah.
faster. It it prints a little bit faster. I tried testing that, and I couldn't get too much differences, but the details seem to be better.
Mm.
And so it might have been I had the machine tuned a little bit better, because I kind of took it apart a little bit, put it back together when I did tune it,
Right.
upgrade it. But yeah, modding is a lot of fun. We have a company, BCO and BTT, Big Tree Tech.
Yes.
They have a lot of the electronics, and they're posting a lot of those within the club. I'm not one of our sponsors, but they're one of the vendors that I allow to come in and
To push stuff. Yeah.
educate us, because they've got the parts for
Mm.
doing that. But yes, it's a lot of fun to mod one.
Well, as long as the mods work.
Yeah. Let's see, my mods, the printers I have up here right now are all samples that I'm testing and doing
Okay.
QA on for the companies. But I have another shop down in the basement that I can't get to very often, but it's got machines that I've modded.
It's
So very old ones, very like CR8 from 2014, I think, the CR
really.
when Creality first went in business, it was their
Mhm.
first year. I have that; it's still running, but I had it modded, and it looks nice.
Do you have any Folger techs?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
that's a
A lot,
really good. That's a really good one.
a lot of the big companies, Folger and uh, um, hmm, uh, the
Persa,
more commercial industrial, they don't seem
Ultimaker.
to. Yeah, they don't seem to visit us too often.
Okay, I did notice that. I actually saw that. As I was kind of surprised at that revelation that the machines that you all feature are I'm gonna use the word not pejoratively, but they're pedestrian machines. They're machines that just about anybody can own, operate, and use.
And that line is getting kind of blurred with the new bamboos and two trees, the new clipper machines. The speed is there and the quality is there to where these machines can be used commercially in some cases.
Interesting.
And I think these companies should pay a little attention to
The
the
community.
enthusiast groups like 3D Printing Club, because we've got users in there that have 40, 50 printers. They got printer farms, and this is where they hang out. They
Yes.
don't go to a commercial. I mean, they're on Twitter, but the company's not there chatting with them, and they're excited about what they got. They want to talk about what they got. They want to talk about what they're doing, and they're pushing these Folgers and these commercial machines, and other people are interested in it, but they don't know anything about it. I'm not giving them any information. I don't know anything. I don't
Mm,
have a relationship, with them. What
right.
am I allowed to, pass along? And
I
so,
see.
I think there's getting to be a little bit of a blur between, the enthusiast and the commercial.
Wow.
You know,
That's
Where like that make your money, making
Yeah.
that money. Pooch, they're using machines now that are in commercial, use. We're almost to the point where, like I'm printing ABS right now, and I'm printing a part for a Ram a truck.
Wow.
And they're, here I am doing something that's printing an actual true automotive part. Somebody put the actual part out, and it's a cap for the bed.
Hmm.
There.
Oh, okay.
And it's ABS, so it's going to be resilient outdoor.
Yeah.
And so here's a commercial part.
It is.
So
And what's most impressive is you're printing with ABS without like some kind of like foil tint over the whole thing. That's staggering.
Well, the room the room is 78. The
Okay.
humidity is 30. So and I don't have any drafts in here, so it's pretty good.
Right.
I
That
just
explains a lot.
I just started printing ABS
Again.
and my very first one, I put this printer right here.
Uh-huh.
It's an a.k.a. Pro.
Okay.
I had a glass plate.
Oh gosh, it couldn't come
I
off.
had a glass plate on it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you can. The glass came.
Yeah.
The glass came with it. Oh my gosh.
Let's
Wow.
highlight
So
that a second, please, because
I destroyed the plate.
When like beginners, if you've stumbled on this video and you're worried, about messing things up, Al's been doing this for at least 14 years, and he had his glass bed come apart, right? So
well,
it's
hang on, I'm not done. Okay, so the second attempt.
Okay.
It's still on the bed. I can't get it off.
That's a flexible plate, isn't it?
No, this is another glass.
Oh my gosh.
But
oh wow.
But what I had done was I used Magic Goo.
Yep.
Okay, I used that, and I was printing PLA, and I thought, oh well, I got a nice coating. I got a nice coating on the bed. I'll go ahead and try this ABS. It just glued it right to the bed.
Wow.
So I can't get it off. I can't get it off. It won't come off.
Wow, Al, you've got like the magic ABS, because the reason I never do ABS is it bends. It comes off of the plate within the first 10, 15 layers without fail for me. So
and tends to warp it to corners or whatever.
Yeah.
That's I'm lucky I've got this room. The kids gave me this is the kids' playroom. I have degenerative disc disease, ankylosing spondylitis, and I can't go up and down the stairs anymore. And so I asked if I could bring a printer up into the toy room and sit with the kids, and I'd print and they'd play. We do Papa daycare, and they said, yeah, go ahead. And so I took one table, and then I took two tables.
Oh, he'll be back. This happened earlier.
That's pretty it's pretty awesome. I mean, that's a pretty nice toy room. I mean, like, Thanos in full color. And then I saw a couple of I think I saw Spawn in there. Deadpool for sure. I think I saw one of the masks for Iron Giant. So that's a heck of a playroom. I mean, I think that he should have been invited. He shouldn't have had to ask.
He gathered up a bunch of photos for the stream, and so I have a feeling the kids, they get a little bit of something out of it too, for having the 3D printer in the game room.
We need to find out which printer printed that. Like, that's how many colors do you see? I see 5. red, black, blue, white, and green, and gold.
It's
Maybe it's painted.
possible. It might be painted, I think.
Maybe it's painted. Still, that's amazing. That's amazing. I don't know what's more amazing, the detail in the print or the fact that he had enough time and energy to paint the whole thing.
And he is returned. Hold on.
All right, excellent.
I can get my mouse over there. There you go.
There you are.
I'm back.
We were commenting, one of the pictures that you gathered up for me featured a young man, so I was speculating that they benefit from those 3D printers being in the room.
Well, that's Hunter, and he wanted me to paint this a dragon, and I said I'll only paint it if you tell me what colors and where to put the colors.
Wow.
And so that is his scheme of colors, because he likes
amazing.
He likes how I paint. He's kind of, you know, tracking after me a little bit and doing things, and he knows how to 3D print, and you know, and now he's painting at home.
That's awesome.
I just printed him one of these.
It almost looked like he had paint on his hands right here.
Oh, is it red?
It
That's
looks
black.
a little purpley.
Oh, okay. He painted this little sword. That's the sword that kills the dragons, and he put blood on it. that's
oh. I get it. So, and we hear people asking for STLs. Where'd you get the model from? Do you recall?
Oh, that one's just a freebie. It's on Thangs. Gee, I don't know the name offhand, but
it's free and it's on Thangs. And I think probably what's most important about it is that that exact model, the exact size and dimensions, of course, could have been manipulated before you even started it up. You know, you've got a larger printer and stuff, so
right.
It's on Thangs. It's on Thangs, and you know,
I'll try to track it down and add the link to the comments of the description of the video.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, I do have it documented somewhere. Somewhere I have somewhere in my archive, my photo album. I have a picture of it. I have a name of it, the material, and the printer that I did it on.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't have that ready for tonight.
No. That's all right. That's all right. No.
These conversations can go in many different directions. So.
You got that right, Vicky. You got that right. Is it time to start demonstrating? You have any other questions?
I thought, one of the benefits of 3D printing, no matter what machine that you get, is you get to make what you want to make and what's passionate or what's meaningful to you or your loved ones. And I thought, Al, you had two projects maybe that you would want to share.
Oh, okay.
Maybe which one do you want to start with, the cathedral or the memorial?
The cathedral. 18 months ago, I came down with fungal pneumonia. It's not a fun thing, and it's not what you would think pneumonia is. It almost killed me, literally. I spent a month in the hospital, and when I came out, there was still some question on whether or not I was going to be okay. It leaves you with histoplasmosis, and then it scars up your aorta, your lungs, your heart, your brain. I've got it in my eyes. It's leaving lesions in my eyes. So anyway, it's pretty messed up. And when I was in the hospital, it was St. Joe's Hospital, and I really got close to God. And when I came home and it was getting Christmas time, and I just really looked for something heartfelt to do, I found the St. Michael's Cathedral. Can you see it? And I had a lot of fun printing this. I mean, I was testing the two trees, SK1, and the cathedral. I wanted something really, really big, something that was a project, something that I could share over and over. Here's an update. And I picked the Cathedral. And as soon as I started it, I mean, it was just so much fun. I tried some of these panels.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a panel, so I can get at the lights. Yes, here. Panels just slide right out.
Mm-hmm.
And, I tried printing it flat. Oh, there we go. I tried printing it flat, laying down, orientation down, and it came out okay. But I wasn't real happy with it. There was, like some strings, and uh, it wasn't super detailed. And
Mm-hmm.
for the heck of it, I knew when I was printing these little slot cars, when I print them straight up, they came out really pretty. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm using this new slicer. I'd never used Persa slicer before. I never used organic supports. And I thought, well, let's give that a try. And man, this all of these pieces, came out so nice.
Wow. What a feeling,
And
huh?
and so
Ye-
so it's actually a full blown lamp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's 2.5 foot tall.
Oh my goodness.
But the the details are really really fine, and it made me feel good doing it. I still wasn't feeling well, but while I was doing it, it made me happy. And it wasn't just some toy that I was doing, or
Yeah.
some other print. It
Wow.
had meaning to it, and so something I'll remember. uh,
Yeah.
it
It still
gave
has
gave me
meaning.
a
It still
reason.
has meaning.
I wasn't breathing very well. I could barely get up off the couch and get into the back room and check it out. But, it gave me a reason to keep getting up and stay, moving and things like that to help me recover. Um,
Thanks for
I'm still
sharing
on the
that.
medicine. I'm still recovering, but
Yeah.
I'm getting there. That's why I didn't go to Rocky Mountain Festival. I just wouldn't have been able to get around. So
Hmm.
the cathedral, it meant a lot to me. I
Mm-hmm.
have another project
Mm-hmm.
that's close to the whole family. My godson, my nephew Jason, was a sergeant in the army. He was a lifetime career, and he had deployed once, come home. He played color guard here, did a lot of green rolls and things like that. And it was good to have him home. And then he deployed again, and this time he didn't come home. And I was the one that suggested he go into the service and make a good career out of it. And so it kind of has some feelings to me to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I found was my sister is what's called a Gold Star mother.
Mm-hmm.
And we're a Gold Star family. Um,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and and what that means is you lost a loved one uh, in action. And there's different stars. There's blue and there's silver. I'm blue. I'm totally disabled myself from
Mm.
service. And so it's a military thing, and I tried to find something here and there for a long time that my sister might like, the family might like. And I found this memorial, and it's called the Gold Star Families Memorial. And it
Hmm.
honored the whole family. In addition to the mother herself, it honored the whole family. Um, and okay, what you see there, that's about 2 foot high. That's printed that's printed in PLA, and it's epoxy coated because I was supposed to have a sponsor for some TPU, and it never came through. So I had to get going because Memorial Day was coming real fast. And so I did this one for the year, and that's a temporary one. I still want to print, the 3.5 foot, the tallest part with the star.
Mm.
That piece will be 3.5 foot tall. I have a printer that can go that tall.
Mhm.
And and print the whole monument in TPU, something that will last 5-10 years. And that's there's a resort that we have in the summertime that we go to. It's like a camp, and in the back are trails, and I have it in a special little covey where people can just drive their golf carts by and their ATVs by and stop, and it's real quiet, and birds are singing, and um, I'll and okay, that picture right there. All I had was the monument, and
Oh my goodness.
And yeah.
every time we would come back every week, there'd be something new added to the monument. And so a lot of people just got right into it, joined right in, and they put torches on the sides. They put flags, a flag of every service organization. They put lights back there so the American flag behind it would be lit up. And then somebody even put a trail cam on it to watch over for protection, for security.
Wow.
And so it was nice that the community joined right in with it. And I feel really good about it. I just want to get that final one done. I want to do it right, because I got a feeling when I'm going to go see it after winter, it's going to be destroyed.
But you said that it survived the Michigan summer. Yeah, but you're just worried about the winter now, right?
Yeah, it did. It did survive the heat. That's true. It did
That's a big
survive the
deal.
Michigan summer. And
Yeah,
so that's the special project that I still have yet to do before Memorial Day. If there's any sponsors out there that would like to sponsor, it'll only take 4 spools of TPU. Bless you. I'd love you forever, because I need to get started on it right away. To have it done by Memorial Day. So that's it. Other than that,
wow. With Al, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
And no, well, actually, I want to thank you for bringing this community service, this community project to our attention, because I think in the 3D printing community, all too often there's like 1 or 2 community projects that people can really put their hands on, and like since the inception of 3D printing, there have been a couple of community projects. The biggest one that everybody remembers is the Enable Hand, and it surges in popularity from time to time. But like,
yes,
there are so many different ways in which we could put these machines to work in service of our own communities. So thank you for presenting this to us, because I think it gives me great ideas about how I can do something for my own community, but also gives me hope that I could help you out in some way, shape, or form too. So that's great. Thank you for that.
Like the Toys for Tots, that's good. I see a lot of people get involved in that too. If I didn't have so many grandkids myself, I would probably be printing that. I have 2 grandkids. My name is Alfred, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 grandkids. I print so many toys. They asked me if I was an elf. And so my mind got to thinking, and I said, yeah, I'm in charge of all the red elves. That's why my name is Alfred. For 4 years now, they still think that I print toys for Santa Claus.
Hey, doesn't get much better than that. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's great. That's awesome.
And that's one of the greatest pleasures in all this, is when you can give one of the kids something and it's wow.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it.
Absolutely.
2 more things I want to point out about the memorial. All the letters you individually printed them to put them in.
That's
which
right.
was neat.
Wow.
The other thing, Lawrence, Al had an interesting observation on Facebook when he first did this project. which is he went to the model repositories and he was searching for veterans and Gold Star, and there's just so few models. And we have iterations over iterations of articulated dragons.
Right. Wow.
And I don't do that's probably it's me and Lawrence's time and your time, Al, too. Does anybody remember the Zero Things initiative from Design Make Teach, Josh Ajima, where he was promoting people to find, if you searched on something and you found 0 things, that's your call to make it and serve that community and increase the diversity in our community to make it a more rich base. So maybe this is a call to action to more models to celebrate our veterans. And
it sure is, because I'm trying to make my dad an honor box, and just looking for these little ribbons or these he was a heavy machine gunner, just something that I can put in this honor box, and there's hardly anything out there. And I got to wondering, well, what about disabled veterans? And I started searching, and there's like almost nothing. There's a few of those boots with the rifle, the honoring
fallen soldiers.
A fallen soldier. There's a few of those, and I noticed the other day there's more added. There's probably 5 or 6 of those now. But it's not enough.
No, not nearly enough.
There should be something else, and I don't know what. I don't know what I'm looking for. But I just wish there was more. With the laser, you can find all kinds of cool things. That kind of are patriotic. And so the laser has more, but and I think HueForge is going to be a nice tool to present some of these military things too.
Not a bad idea.
So I'll go find that zero things, and I'll check it out.
I put a link in the YouTube chat. And Al, the people gravitating towards your memorial and leaving things reminds me. My son and I recently visited West Point, and we did this hike called the Trail of the Fallen. And people were, this is not 3D printing related, but people were coming over and carrying rocks, some of up to 200 pounds up there to the top of the mountain to place it there. And then we're representing a 3D printing nerd.
There, yeah.
I've heard that. That's right.
And you say that's at West Point?
Yeah.
In Virginia or West Point in Pennsylvania?
New York.
I'm sorry, New York. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Man,
you got Joel's sweatshirt on there. Okay.
Yeah, and underneath is a Mr. B sweatshirt. So he was all about the YouTubers that day.
Joel is such a lovely guy. I think the community is just super blessed to have him, and so is the Children's Hospital. That's just amazing what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Al, are you okay with showing us your ideas about orientation, just so we get the little bit of tech in there?
Tips for beginners.
Well, what I want to say is, if you're having problems and as far as bed adhesion, number one, if it's a part that is thin, you can always use the brim and make sure it touches the part. Don't make it too thick, because then it'll leave a mark, but that will help support it. Your bed. Now, my beds, I have a wham bam, and I clean that with alcohol, and then I use steel wool. Okay, and that's the maintenance for a wham bam. But the G-Tech, it's a textured type board. Okay, and this one I clean it with alcohol, I try the print. If it doesn't print or it doesn't stick, I learned this from Maker's Muse. I take a little bit
Yes.
of glue, I put it all around, and then a damp cloth with a little bit of alcohol on it, and just one time, just kind of smear it around, and that leaves a very tiny film. And that way it won't leave any dirty marks on the bottom. Okay,
Wow.
And that will get you some adhesion. If when you lay a part flat, let's see, do I have one? If you well, like, let me grab this again. If I was to print this flat and this side didn't look very good, I didn't get that glass effect, or I didn't get that smooth effect because I had glue on it or whatever. Again, try printing it upright. And another thing too, if you don't like the lines that you're getting, don't do it angling. Always try another straight angle to it. Either a right angle or a left angle. Just keep it straight, because that will keep it with the motion that's going, and that will reduce the layer lines.
Yeah.
This print was done at a 0.1 layer line, so it's very, very, very fine. It was done with Rep white, I think it was, yes, Rep silk white, and it's so thin that it's almost transparent.
Yes, it is. I was going to ask you whether
and you use translucent PLA for it too, I think.
Then let's see, the bed. I mean, again, it all starts with a clean bed, so you can get a good bond, so you can get a good start. Because that start, if it's a bad start, if it's a lost line, or it ends up carrying on all the way up through the rest of the print.
Most certainly. Do you have auto leveling on your machines, or are these all manual leveled?
Yes, I have auto leveling. One thing, always do your auto leveling.
Okay.
And then do your Z offset, but don't forget to save. A lot of people do the auto leveling. They'll do the Z offset. They'll print, then they'll turn the machine off, and then they'll come and print again, and they'll say, "Wait a minute, it's all off." It's because you didn't save.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you'd know, because
that's a good advice for software stuff too.
Yes.
Now, not every printer is like that. Some of the printers, once you do the Z offset, there is no save, or it did save it automatically. But I know, like this Biku right here, I got to save it. I have to save it. And it has an auto leveling, but the pin, when this machine is brand new, I got it to sample. I'm running QA testing on it for Biku, and I hope they don't get mad at me for saying this, but anyway, this is what happened. The pin fell out of the auto, the unit,
your probe point.
The probe, yes.
Yeah.
And so they're sending me a new Eddy. It's a new
I saw that
new product. That's it's based on sonar type of leveling. It doesn't even get close. It's like a LiDAR.
Yeah, that's next level. I mean, I wonder how much it costs, but when I saw it, I was very, very fascinated by that. Like that particular little tidbit could probably bring a lot of 7-8-year-old machines out of the junk pile and back into action.
If it works, Biku is,
they push the limits.
Big Tree Tech is a little bit weak on telling us what machines it's compatible with, because I'm sure that that's like, if it's 32-bit and it's got to be plugged into the board, you got to have a 32-bit board, or the firmware needs to be updated. it needs to be in the group that they're going to give, out in GitHub, where you can find the better firmware, reliable firmware. Hopefully there's a version, with that.
Wow.
And so, but Eddie's coming, and I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know anything about it really. At first, I didn't want it. I was, busy enough with what I had, but then it broke.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, that Eddie sensor looks very, very exciting.
And so now the Cobra, the Anycubic, it's got the ultimate leveling. I mean, it does the mesh. It does the leveling. It's got like 32 zones or something like that. And it's been one of my most reliable printers. I mean, you can see the things all beat up. And so I decided to try it with with ABS, and now it's just a pure ABS machine. It's
I don't
doing
see
so
the reason
well.
why you would change. Yeah.
I printed one of the T-Rex gnomes out on Cults. Somebody decided they were going to do the gnomes attack back, and so I'm gonna paint it. And I did an ABS one, and I gave it to that little guy, and he's gonna paint his, and we're gonna see who can paint it the best. So I'm trying to invoke them to do some work, to do some things.
Yeah.
So,
now, Al,
yes.
When you have someone who's beginning, do you have any best practices or advice for them if they need to reach out to get help?
Well, if I gave them the advice and I recommended a certain printer, then I hope they come back to me, because we're on par with what we're doing, and I'm familiar with what they're doing it for and what they're using it for and what they want. And we can just keep continuing on from there. But nowadays people are coming in with these, the multicolor AMS, MMU. I don't know those printers, and those vendors don't know me, so I'm not getting any samples. They're all going to the YouTubers and the Twitter people, and I'm mainly Facebook. One thing, if you look at my Twitter was set up a long time ago to be my veterans, my support for veterans, and for the political for veterans, getting things done, and following, the congressmen and things like that. It's my political. Now it's getting mixed up with 3D printing, and I'm sure that I'm losing some friends or whatever.
Yeah.
I need to set up another X user ID that's just for 3D printing.
Yeah.
But I have so many followers, and I follow. It's going to be hard to twist them back over.
The people in printing will find you though, for sure, if you do a little cross pollination. Yeah. But and so like if I'm a purity beginner, how do I get started and what do I do? Is there, how many different ways can somebody get an answer to that question? They can post on Facebook, they can do the chat.
Yeah. First, there were 2 articles in the last 5 years written. 3D Printing Club is the #1 club for zero drama, and the most helpful and the most fun place to be. There's just never anything anybody's ever arguing about, ever.
That's great.
I haven't kicked anybody out in probably 2.5 years. And
that's a huge asset.
Oh, I'm so lucky for having this crowd. Now, if they ask me, and I'm lately, for about the last year, I've been recommending Ender 3, Ender 5s, depending on what they want it for and how much money they have. And then I recommend and I suggest, there's only 2 people that I watch YouTubes from. That's Maker Muse and Chep, or Filaments Friday Filaments. Chuck Hellenbeck is the expert on Enders. So he picks up where I leave off with his YouTube.
Yes, he's kind of, when you said Ender, that's the first person I thought of.
Chuck Hellenbeck. Yeah, he lives not far from me right now, and He's such a lucky guy. His son is playing in the NHL playoffs as a goalie for the Winnipeg Jets. So he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's who I then turn people on for looking for reference to a problem or reference to changing something, fixing something. But they can still come back to me, and I can help them change their nozzle. I can help them get rid of a clog, replace the Bowden tube, things like that. You know,
Hmm.
you know, not too complicated, but some of the heavier things. Fix something, update the firmware. Most of these machines, almost every machine has a different way of updating the firmware. And
Hmm.
if I'm familiar with it, I'll help them. Otherwise, I'll find a YouTube that will help us both, and then I'll learn with them.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then, like I said, we have the chat. That's a little function up at the top of the menu on our page on our group, and that will take you into a room where people are, either chatting about 3D printers, or somebody's working on a problem, and you can work your way in and ask your question, and you can even go to a side chat from that. That's kind of what I like about these new chats and Facebook. You don't
Oh,
have you don't have to do it in the main group. You can take it off to the chat, and if there's too many people in the chat, you can take a side chat off of that, and then
wow.
you
Okay.
and whoever's helping you can get together and get things done. And so um, that's a really nice feature, and I don't have to do it on the phone or call them up, or
Yeah.
uh, you know uh,
So,
do it live in the room in the group. That those days are over now, so
yeah.
that's good.
I've done my fair share of technical support in my day job, so I might also chime in and suggest screenshots or a photo,
Oh,
and be specific about what the problem is. I know when I'm perusing some 3D printing groups, sometimes someone posts a picture like, "What can I do about this?" And they have a picture, good, but I'm not exactly sure. Are they talking about? Are they talking about little seams, like what's bothering them about the print? So you may want to elaborate that. And I know it's hard when you don't know the terminal. You don't,
Yeah.
oh,
when
okay.
you're trying to Google something or ask a question, if you don't know what it's called, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So if you're going the Google route, try different iterations, of like
Mhm.
Right.
synonyms of the term, and maybe you'll find your way a little
Well,
bit.
I was a database for um, 24 years,
Wow.
so I know keyword usage and things like that. What I did in the beginning of the club, about 2012, 2013, I started using hash marks,
Oh,
and I would use a hash mark, hash mark, a bad nozzle, hash mark, a change hotted. I would stretch it out. I would use this long hash mark, thinking, oh, later on I'll be able to come back and put this stuff all together. Maybe I can create some kind of uh, a repository for frequently asked questions. But it didn't work. I can't find my hash marks. It's like they got rid of them. The hash marks don't go back that far, and so you know,
really?
it will work now.
Oh.
Because I noticed the hash marks the last year or two. You can still dig and dig and dig and find them going back, but going back 7, 8, 9 years, no, they don't go back that far.
Mm.
And that was a real shame, because I had a lot of them. Every time I'd help somebody, I'd put the hash mark in there, what it was.
Hmm.
Um, but you're right. I had screenshots. I still have some of those. I do have a archive of help. It's 3D PC help. I do have an archive of a bunch of help pictures. I don't know what they went to or who they were for, or
Uh-huh.
but whenever I took a screenshot, I'd put it in there, and that's where I'd save it and grab it from, and use it to talk about. But you're right. You're right. That's a good idea. I think I'll start doing that again, because it 3 years from now is, you know, just down the road, and
Really is.
maybe we'll have a frequently asked questions built with AI and my hash marks.
Probably, I mean, you know, there's somebody in the club that already knows how to do that. They just got to realize that they can help.
There's
Yeah.
our little
So,
community here in the How Would You Slice It live stream chat is expanding on some of the ideas here. Yes, it is helpful. This is from Mike. Never let the machines win. It is helpful if your picture is in focus, and you should mention the printer, the material, and the slicer, and you know, just the more information, the better to try to troubleshoot and find an issue. And then this I've seen is, you know, you said your group has very little drama. I've seen this to be a very big drama point in a lot of other groups where someone asks a question and then they get reamed for not using the search first. And then someone does a post like, hey, you know what, you could just scroll by. You know, it just kind of explodes out from there. But yeah, it you might want to do a search. It's hard sometimes if you don't know the terminology, but
it's a little bit of work, but I profile every person that comes into the club.
Oh,
You know, I search all of them.
37,000 people.
Yeah, I do. I
yeah,
do.
yeah, he
It's
does.
about
He does.
it's about 20 a week right now, and I just make sure that that's what they're there for. And if it's not, then I'll actually take the time and send them a message, and you know, why would you like to join the club, that kind of thing. So number one, it's 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 uh, the profiles are of people who really are truly interested in 3D printing. Number two, way back, every group had all the trolls. Everybody had, you know, problems with people who, hey, why don't you Google it? You know, get out of here. You're wasting our time. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Mhm.
And you know, back then I didn't know what the age group was for Facebook, so I wanted a family friendly group, and I kept telling everybody, you know, there's no swearing, you don't treat anybody bad. If you do, you're gone, and they were gone.
Mhm.
I eliminated a lot of people. They don't know that they're gone. They're not going to miss it, and it's not going to be any trouble for me in the future. So I cleaned it up and I kept it clean, and it worked.
That's great.
There's never any issues in our club, and there's some kids, I want to say teenagers and things like that, that are in the club regularly, and I'm really proud of that because you know we
Yeah.
can work with them, and they end up coming in and helping other people too.
Hmm.
They're some of the most helpful after they get the experience, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
It's very empowering for young people to be able to help other people. Very rarely are people under 18 seen as resources, you know. So yes, that is very empowering. You picked up on something that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
all
learned.
throughout
You go, Al.
all throughout my life, even when I was, you know, in IT database security, I always, you know, helped or taught some classes or taught some function or feature or something about, you know, our systems and things like that. And that was the most enjoyable part of my. That's why I went to the mad science after I retired from IT, is so I could teach. And you
Hmm.
know, that is very rewarding, and that's why pretty much probably why I stuck with 3D printing club. um, I've got like 9 other clubs other than 3D printing club too. um,
Mm.
one thing, we have 3D printing 3D printing advertising and sales. It's a separate group, so
Hmm.
that way you keep it out of the club.
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and 3D print laser and milling. So the laser and the milling are outside of the club, and so you don't get too much of a deluge of mixture. You can keep it on focus on just 3D printing or just
Hmm.
lasers or just advertising. And if you're looking for something, you go to the advertising group. And so our clubs are a little bit different, and that's another thing too. You don't have people complaining, you know, so much advertising, I'm leaving, you know, you quit spamming
Yeah.
and spamming. And And so we only have like 3 or 4 advertisers in there at any one like month. And that's it. You know, I keep it limited to that too. Um, and so I'm proud of it. You can tell, I hope.
Yes. Well, you should be. You should be. Yes, absolutely.
Now, Lawrence, as we wrap up, do you have any tips or encouragements for people who are just beginning?
I think the one thing that I would say is to find resources where they don't make you feel bad for asking questions. Find a community, even a local one or an in-person one, and go and talk and engage people just like Al did to learn, even if it's for a week or two before you go ahead and jump into something. Find someplace that's going to be supportive, because when I first started 3D printing, I almost threw my 3D printer away. Like, I was at it for like 6 months and I couldn't make anything happen. But I finally printed like one thing, and that's what kept me in. I'm thank God I did, but finding people who are supportive rather than people who kind of make you feel like you're not valuable because you don't know, that's very, very, very crucial to you engaging, growing, and moving forward with being productive with the hobby. So yeah.
That's a great suggestion, because like like the Ender 3, if I was to recommend the Ender 3 to somebody, I would also point them to an Ender 3 user group and tell them, hang out, lurk, listen to these people. Are they complaining, or are they celebrating their treasures that they're finding on their beds? And if
The
you
treasures they're finding on their beds.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And find a printer in a printer group, where everyone's enjoying it, and that's probably one you'll enjoy too. That's why I always recommend the Ender 5. It's just a safe. There's some new ones out now. I mean, I want the bamboo combo. It's the A1 combo. It's a little bit bigger than the A1 mini.
Get the A1 mini.
But it's
I suggest the mini. I suggest the mini over the A1. Now, I don't have experience with the A1, but just for bang for your buck, like if you like light heavyweight fighting, like fast, efficient, powerful, A1 mini, it's a standout in that respect.
They're really close to. They had a board problem, cable problem, the electrical going to the bed. And they're sending out new beds now. People are starting to receive their beds. They're starting to get inventory in the warehouse, but they haven't put it back on sale yet.
Right.
And I have been. My local micro center has A1 minis.
Yes.
And they're at, I think, $429, and it's
online right now. This is not a commercial for them. Online, you can get an A1 mini with the AMS light for $400.
Oh, good.
$400, like the cost of 2 boards, and you can have a 3D printer with 4 colors.
4 colors.
Yeah.
See, I'm also, I don't want to say an artist, but I love painting. And these are all painted.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. That's
okay.
And I love painting. I paint Christmas decorations and things like that.
I get it.
But I'm going to miss it, because I'll be done. I'll be done, and the kids will have their toy, and they'll be all painted.
You paint digitally instead of physically now. You have to put
exactly.
You make decisions about color as you manipulate the design. So it's not going away. It's just going to be a little different. You're going to upgrade your paintbrush. You don't have to clean them anymore.
I can't. I do monsters. I like monsters. And so it's Nosferatu. Dr. Doom.
That was Dr. Doom. I thought it was Iron. I thought it was Iron Giant.
Oh, there's your squirrely fish, Vicky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Those
Oh
just
my gosh,
came
then
out.
you have a whole bunch of them.
Everybody loved them. I had to keep doing them. I think I worked on them for about 3 weeks. I just had to keep printing and printing and printing. Those don't have eyeballs yet. I have to put eyeballs in them.
Mm,
See this?
yeah. Is that Tanya Akinora, or who designed those?
The fish?
Yeah.
CliveHarris. I'm just throwing
Okay.
it into the chat.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
prints in parts, and then you just mix and match and shuffle them up. And just about every member of my family has them in bathroom or somewhere.
Awesome.
They loved them.
That happens when you've got 5 or 10 operational printers in your house. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got 10 downstairs in the basement that I can't get to.
I have a better look of that fish. And then if we have a few moments, I have my advice for beginners. Let's grab the fish real quick though. So there we go. Yeah, so this is CliveHarris. It's
Quilling.
really nice.
Yes, it is. Wow.
So on my side, if we want to resume, finish up with the advice for beginners, I was reflecting on this because the advice that I would give when I started would be very different than the advice I'd give today. And a lot of it is the new machines that are out there, the Bamboo Labs and all the multicolor capabilities. And so I wanted to try to come up with advice that might stand the test of time. And so my advice is, if you're going to fail fast. And so if you are going to do a print, start off with something small, something that's going to be fast. And so, like you can get your answer. Well, that sucked, and change some things and then do it again, right? And get back up, and don't be deterred by those failures. And so this is going to be, you can translate this to bigger projects too. Like maybe your printer, but you feel like there's a troubled area of your model. So an example I have here actually is my maternal grandmother's house. We were tearing it down, but before we tore it down, I made a 3D model of it.
Wow.
And so this is before Bamboo Mini. This is the dual the Maker Gear ID M3 ID with the independent dual, the two nozzles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before I did this long print, that was was going to fail. There's areas that I was concerned about. I was concerned about this beautiful lattice work in her porch. So one of the first things I did was print it in a single color, because that's going to be faster. And I think I have a photo somewhere. Yep. So my first load of attack was, I'm going to fail fast. I'm going to print it in a single color. And I saw that my lattice work it was not the effect that I wanted to do. So I was able to go back and revisit it and everything like that. So then I fixed my lattice work, and I didn't quite want to invest in the full time of the giant color. So you could just print a part of your model. And this would be like if you have like Owl's Cathedral, or like something with a very delicate spire. You don't want to do the whole print and then find at the top you have a cooling issue and it messes up. So you can just lower your model down, then just print the tippy top and see how it does, and see if you need to make adjustments there. So in this case, I did the little porch with just the lattice work. And back at this time, I didn't have a fancy Prusa slicer, fancy Bamboo Studio that can do the negative modifiers. So I actually, made the little small model in Blender. But now you can just pull it in, throw a negative modifier on what you don't want, and just do a quick print of the troubled area and see how it goes. So that's my parting advice for this episode. If you are going to fail fast. And I have lots of other examples if we want. If you need them, if you don't believe me, I have more examples.
I have I had trash bags full of examples when I first started 3D printing. So yeah, well, thank you. That's great advice. Wow. Well, Thanks, Al, so much for being our guest. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Oh.
Yeah, and I
I'm
really, I
honored.
can.
I'm glad to be back. Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, and I should have put this up earlier, but if you aren't a member of the 3D Printing Club, you can find that on Facebook. It's just the facebook.com/3D Printing Club. And as Al showed earlier, there's a little chat that you can go to get more help.
That one's called 3D Printer Chat. Yes.
3D Printer Chats. Got it. And then our usual little ending thing, which is how would you slice that? We want this to be just like a community gathering and a community participation. And thank you so much, everybody in the. I always like look over to the chat, but I should look into the camera. Thank you, everybody who joined us, our little communities, and for participating and have all your commentary and your advice as well. If anybody's interested in joining us on screen one week, you can sign up to be a guest slicer on howwouldyouslicethat.com. And if you have a model that's tricky or troublesome and you think it might be a good discussion point, you can sign that up as well. We are live at 8 p.m. Eastern, right now, Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Tuesdays that are prime numbers. Our next Prime Tuesday, I believe, is May 7th. If I wait to the ticker, I can find out.
Yep, it's May 7th.
May 7th. And we are going to have the gentleman from Desktop Mix, Vladimir, is going to be with us. I'm excited about that one. Yeah. All right. I always feel like I can't thank everybody enough. Thank you, Lawrence. I love your new maker brick. Thank you, Al. Thank you for everything you've done for the 3D.
Great to meet you, Lawrence.
Nice to meet you too, Al.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.